Hey, what's up? This is Beyond the Game, and during this episode, I have invited a few guests from the Beyond the Game Facebook group page to come be a part of the show to give me their views, thoughts, and opinions on who they think will win the NBA Finals. I am your host, Q Walker, aka Nephew Q. And during this show, they're going to give you great insight, great analysis, great depth into why they're picking who they got on winning the NBA Finals. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, we're all about to watch to see if Steph Curry can get that fourth ring and that first Finals NBA Finals MVP. So stay tuned, keep it locked, and find out what the guys got to say about the NBA Finals here on Beyond the Game. What's up? What's happening? You already know who it is and what it is. It's your boy Q Walker, aka Nephew Q, host of the world's most dangerous sports show, Beyond the Game. Here to give you a special edition show. And during this episode, I pulled some guys from the Beyond the Game Facebook page, Facebook group page to come on and give me their NBA Finals predictions, previews, who they think is going to be the Finals MVP, what the Celtics and Warriors got to do to both win this game. So without further ado, let me introduce my first guest on the show today. I have Sports and Discourse host Derek Stevenson on the show from the Facebook page today. D Money, what's good with you, fam?
Hey man, I'm just happy to be here, man. What's going on?
Hey man, you already know we got the NBA Finals about to kick off here in a couple of days, so I wanted to bring you on the show, get your thoughts and views and opinions on who you think will win the NBA Finals. But before we get in all of that, I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. But before I ask you a couple of questions, let the people know where they can find your podcast at and check you out.
Right, man. So look for me, Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson, primarily on YouTube. But if you ain't into videos, if sometimes you want to check me out while you walking your dog or you cutting your grass or whatever you're doing, you can also look me up on Anchor or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, man. However you want to do it, I'm out there.
Hey, he's out there. He's everywhere. But yeah, like I said, let's get into some NBA Finals talk. The first question I want to ask my boy D Money: what do the Boston Celtics have to do in order for them to win this NBA Finals?
Well, the first thing they got to do is they got to try to limit the amount of good looks from the three-point line that the Warriors are going to get, right? Because the Warriors, they got a team full of shooters. So it's going to be hard for you to have games where all of them shoot bad, which is what you want. But the best thing you can do is to just try to make sure they take tough threes, right? They got a bunch of dudes that's capable of hitting tough shots. But if you can try to keep them all shooting a modest percentage from threes, that's going to be the best chance for the Celtics. And unfortunately, their two best scorers that are probably going to end up working probably extremely hard on defense, they're going to have to probably get 25 plus out of them guys every single game.
So you saying between Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they're both going to have to average 25 points per game. So what does Marcus Smart, what does he have to contribute in order for them to win this series?
Unfortunately, he's probably going to have to go for 20 as well, but I ain't going to necessarily put that on him. I know he's going to be working extremely hard. He's the best defender that's going to probably be on the court on both teams. He's going to have his hands full, though, because he's never going to be on the court and not be working extremely hard on that end of the court. He's either going to be checking Steph, or he's going to be checking Clay, or he's going to be checking Poole, or he might even be matched up with Wiggins at some point. Either way it goes, man, he's going to have a long night, and it's probably going to take a whole lot of him, a whole lot out of him on the offensive end. If they can get 15 to 18 from him, that would be extremely helpful. Unfortunately, I just don't know where the Celtics is going to get enough points to keep up with these boys.
Yeah, so you got Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, both averaging 25. Marcus Smart, anywhere between 16 to 18. Then let's go on the flip side to the Western Conference Finals champions, the Golden State Warriors. Now, what do they have to do in order to become the victors in the NBA Finals?
In order for Golden State, I think they just gonna have to limit the turnovers. Number one, don't want to give the Celtics a whole lot of easy transition baskets because if the Celtics get out and run, they can get some easy points, and just make it to where the Celtics have to score a lot in the half court, right? Because if you put the Celtics in the half court, I don't think they have enough efficient scores to really keep up with Golden State. So if they do that on defense, they should be good. And unfortunately, they just have a whole lot of dudes that can score. So they're probably going to never have three of them guys playing bad in one night. Because you got Wiggins. Wiggins might be the overall best player in the series. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Wiggins is capable of playing all NBA defense, but he's also capable of scoring 30 points a game. So he might end up being the most important player on the Warriors because he might end up still scoring 20 plus points a game, and he might be assigned to check Tatum or Brown, and he's capable of making it difficult for either one of those guys. And then you just have to worry about Steph, Clay, and Poole just shooting good. Draymond is not going to have to give you much offensively. He's just going to have to make sure that he runs the offense the way that he normally does. He's going to probably get rebounds, play point guard, and get them shooters open baskets. And if you put him out there and he's got Poole, Clay, Steph, and Wiggins, any combination of those boys, he should probably average 10 assists a game. He's going to probably average a double-double, and he'll give you 8 to 12 points a game. That should be enough, honestly.
So it sounds like to me that you saying that Golden State just has too much firepower. But don't give me your NBA Finals prediction just yet. You mentioned Andrew Wiggins being the overall best player in this NBA Finals. So that leads me to my next question, which is, who are the X factors for both teams? They don't necessarily have to be the best player, but it could be the player who might have the most impact, like a Andrew Wiggins or Derek White or Al Horford. Who do you have as the X factors for both squads?
All right, well, I'm going to go on and give you my first easy answer, which is Wiggins, right? And that's because, like I said, he's the guy that in the beginning of his career, he was the next one up. He was supposed to be the next Kobe and all of this stuff that they call in Jason Tatum. We thought that was going to be Andrew Wiggins initially. And it didn't really work out for him like that. But now that he's got a little bit older, a little bit more experience, he's starting to show flashes of that type of player. Like, he's starting to look like a guy that was once drafted number 1 overall, because he can have some nights where he might explode. He could give you 40. And if he gives them anything over 20 points, they're going to potentially have 3 to 4 guys that can go over 20, which is going to be hard to deal with. But like I said, he's long, athletic, decently quick, decently strong. He's like a really important defender for Golden State because he's one of those guys that whoever's hot, whether it be Brown or whether it be Tatum, they could put him on. They could have him check that guy, and he could potentially be really worrisome for one of those two players.
So pretty much what you're saying is they'll do Jason Brown or Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown the same way Andrew Wiggins did with Luka. They put him on Luka to try to slow him down. But the thing I will say about this is that in this series, they have multiple people to worry about versus in the Dallas Mavericks series, you only had Luka to worry about. So do they tell Andrew Wiggins, hey, don't worry about scoring, just focus your energy and effort on defense and slowing 1 or 2 of those guys down?
Well, I think honestly, Golden State is kind of an unselfish team anyway, so I don't think that they ever really would tell him to not focus on scoring. I think one of the main problems with Wiggins is he's always played within the offense. So he's never really tried to go out and just be a complete dominant scorer, right? If he gets hot, I think they'll let him go. But if he's not, shooting the ball as well, I don't think it will matter as much as long as he's giving a supreme effort on the other end of the court.
So now we get to the part that apparently everybody who's watching or listening on the podcast want to know. Give me your NBA Finals predictions. Give me the games and who you got winning.
Hold on. Before we get to that, though, I gotta talk about my X factor.
For the math.
Right?
I mean for the Celtics. My bad. Go ahead.
Now, to me, the X factor is, it's probably gonna be the same for anybody you ask, but it's gonna be Jaylen Brown, right? And the reason why I say Brown is the X factor is because you're gonna have to determine where he falls in the hierarchy of players that's gonna be in this game, right? So, number one, you're going to have Steph Curry. Then you're going to have Jason Tatum. But after that, the Celtics need Brown to be the third best player in this series. If he's underneath Wiggins, if he's underneath Clay, if he's underneath Poole, the Celtics could potentially be in trouble. But if he's the third best player on the court, that will give them a way better shot of winning the series.
So you said if Brown is the third best player, but in your opinion, do you think he's the third best player on the court?
I think he has potential to have third best performances, but I don't know if he can do it for a whole entire series. But I don't think that he's better. I don't think he's playing better than Wiggins, and it kind of depends. Clay, it could go back and forth because Clay is capable to have some monster games, but he has been kind of having some off games too in the playoffs. But I definitely don't think he's going to outperform Steph or Tatum. But the Celtics desperately need him to be at least the third best player every single night.
So real quick, because you brought up an interesting point, the hierarchy in the best players in this series. So if you had to rank them, how would you rank them 1 through 5 as the best players in this NBA Finals?
I would rank Steph number 1. I would rank Tatum number 2. And then 3 is where it gets tricky, but I would probably go Wiggins number 3. Then I would probably go Clay number 4. And Brown or Draymond could either take the 5th spot.
You got to pick one. Pick one, D-Money.
I'll give it to Brown.
Okay. So basically the Warriors have 3 out of the top 5 in this series.
Or 4.
4, depending if you want to put Brown or Draymond in that 5th slot. So now we get to the NBA Finals prediction part. Who you got winning? How many games is it going to take them to win?
Oh, man. I hate to say this, but I do think the Warriors will win in 6. I think they'll have a night where they just kind of shoot bad, or they'll have a night where they just not really into it, and the Celtics will be able to sneak a game or two, especially at home. You know what I'm saying? I'll give the Celtics a greater chance at home if the Warriors kind of just take a night off, or maybe if they have some injuries. And one thing too now that I'm thinking about it, if Gary Payton Jr. plays, then Wiggins might not even have to focus as hard on defense, because that's what he's going to do. He's going to dunk the ball, and he's going to chase Tatum or Brown. And if they have Wiggins on Tatum, and then they have Payton on Brown, or vice versa, it could get real ugly, because I forgot about Payton, man. But I think it could actually be over in 5.
I was going to say, it sounds like you leaning more towards 5.
Oh, man.
It's that the way you eat, because now you seem like you said 6, but then you brought up Peyton, so now it's like you talking to yourself like, damn, it might actually be over in 5. Like the Celtics might get 1 at home, but you like, damn, then you put Peyton back in there. Then that's an extra body that Steph or Clay really don't have to guard. You can put Wiggins and Peyton. You can even put Jordan Poole on one of them. And go ahead, D-Money. Go ahead and say 5.
Warriors in 5.
There it is, Warriors in 5. So D-Money got Warriors in 5. Book it. So since you got that, who on the Golden State Warriors gets the NBA Finals MVP? And give me a stat line of what that player has to average throughout the NBA Finals.
Honestly, I think Draymond is gonna go all out of his way to get Steph off. Um, I think Steve Kerr is gonna run a whole lot of offense. I think that group of guys loves each other enough, and they, regardless of what they say, they know that this is important to Steph's legacy, right? Nobody else on that team is looked at in the same light as Steph. Yes, it would be nice if Clay won one. Yes, it would be nice if Draymond or Wiggins or somebody else won an Finals MVP. But I think as a group, I think they all want to see Steph get that, and especially Steve Kerr. And I think Steve Kerr and Draymond will run the offense to definitely have Steph averaging 27 points a game, probably shooting 45 to 47% from three.
Yeah.
I don't think none of the other numbers is going to matter as much. But I think he's going to go crazy, man. And like I said, man, it'll be over quick. And that boy will finally get his Finals MVP. And he's going to have to start making people rethink their greatest overall list, because he kind of got put in that shadow of Kevin Durant. Because regardless of how good you think Steph is, when Kevin Durant was there, Kevin Durant was kind of the best player on the team, as far as he's the one that matched up one-on-one with LeBron, and they dominated the finals while he was there, and it kind of overshadowed Steph. And I think this could be very important to his legacy and how we look at him going forward. If they was to fail, it would hurt him a whole lot. It would kind of take away from the great things that he did before KD. So I think everybody's determined to make sure that doesn't happen. And like I said, man, Warriors in 5.
Warriors in 5. My dude got Steph Curry winning the NBA Finals MVP, putting up a stat line of 26 points per game. The rest of the stuff don't matter. 45 to 50% from the three-point land. Well, D-Money, I appreciate your time. Before I get out of here, remind the people again where they can check your show out.
Yes, sir, man. Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson. You can hit me up on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts. And eventually I'm going to start doing more with my social media, man. I might have to create a TikTok page for it, or, whatever. I'm going to have to start really getting busy with that. But right now, check me out, YouTube and Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, man. I appreciate it.
There it is. D-Money giving us his NBA Finals prediction. Make sure y'all go check out his podcast. D-Money, appreciate you taking your time out to sit with me. I'll holler at you later on, bro.
Yes, sir.
Man, so that was D-Money from the Beyond the Game Facebook group page, coming on to kick it with us for a little bit, giving us his NBA Finals predictions. So we're going to keep this thing going. I got another guy coming up to the stage who has been a long time Beyond the Game group fan page member, supporter. He's always sharing everything. He's a huge KD, Kyrie fan. If you've been in the Facebook page long enough, you've probably seen his Scary Hour post. If you don't know who I'm talking about, I'm talking about none other than my boy Drew. Drew, what's going on with you, man?
What's up? What's up? How y'all doing?
Hey, man, we just living life, man. I appreciate you taking the time out to kick it with me for today for a little bit.
Sir.
So Drew, your Brooklyn Nets didn't make it. My Los Angeles Lakers didn't make it. We both up Shit's Creek without a paddle. So, we got to watch the NBA Finals because we love the sport anyways. So I'm going to just ask you a couple of questions about the NBA Finals to see what your hot topic debates are, all right?
Bet.
Let's get right on into it. So let's talk about the Eastern Conference Final winners, Boston Celtics. Now, Drew, you claim to be a smart man on the basketball tip. So what do the Boston Celtics have to do in order to win this NBA Finals?
It starts in the paint for me, where their biggest advantage is, especially with Robert Williams being healthy. getting him involved in the lob game, especially when Tatum and Brown penetrate the lane. I think that's one area where they'll be able to exploit that they've actually had some difficulty in the last few series. There's really no rim protection there for Golden State. I think Tatum and Brown will be able to get into the lane at ease. You'll probably see some switched up defenses as far as, I don't know if you'll see full out zones, but maybe zone principles and matchup zones go through. But Boston just needs to take advantage of the paint and definitely get to the rack.
So, so we got the Boston Celtics. So you think Robert Williams, well, I'll get to that in a little bit. So on the flip side, okay, Drew, the Western Conference Final champions, Golden State Warriors, who have made it back without Kevin Durant, but we ain't going to get into all that right now. Yeah. We ain't doing that today. What do the Golden State Warriors have to do in order for them to win the NBA Finals?
Get out and run, make it a transition series. I think the faster the pace, the more beneficial it'll be for them. They're definitely going to have to do, and it's part of what their offense is good at, continue the ball rotation, movement, make Boston put stress on their rotations, make them decide who they're going to make beat them. I think you'll see a lot of Jordan Poole running the point, say, at this series. They're going to have to do something to free Steph up, because of course Smart's gonna probably follow him 90 feet, if not. So definitely gonna have to take advantage of the game in transition, get out and run, and make it a track meet.
So in order for Golden State to win, they have to make it an up and down game. But don't you think the Boston Celtics have the depth to play that type of ball game, or you think the Boston Celtics just has to slow the ball game down, or do you think they can still win if they were to win playing that type of ball game where
Boston,
they can get out
that's one of the things with Boston is because they're such a great defensive team that they are bred to play their style, because, of course, defense creating offense normally helps transition get going. And definitely, penetrating the lane, getting out and running is going to help you get out there faster. I think if you're in a half-court offense, it definitely favors more Boston as far as the matchups go defensively. And defensively, Tatum's longer. We saw him play great defense on Kevin Durant with double teams and things that they were sending his way. Jaylen Brown's an above-average defender, so you do have somebody for Clay. You've already got the Defensive Player of the Year that's going to be following Steph around. Probably he'll be in, as long as Steph's in the game, he'll be in the game, I would imagine. I think Boston's kind of bred to win this either way. And a lot of styles that they could play, but I think the one that's going to be the most chance for Golden State to win would be up and down for 7 games or for 6 games, however that many they take to win.
All right. So you mentioned Marcus Smart, you mentioned Robert Williams, so which brings me to my next question. Who are the X factors for both teams? Who are the players? Who are the guys that necessarily might not be the Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Steph Curry, Clay, but the guys who will still make an impact, like the Al Horford, the Grant Williams type of guys? Who are your X factors for both squads?
So for Boston, we've already mentioned, it's going to be Robert Williams. His health is going to be key. It opens up a lot more for their offense. And does more for their defense on rim protection with having him in the game. I think he's the key for Boston. I would say probably Poole, and I'd even lump it in with the bench is the most important thing for Golden State. And I think if they are going to win, I like Golden State's bench a little bit more than I like Boston's. Peyton Pritchard can't guard a soul. You saw they had to cut his minutes out of the Miami series for that very reason. There's a lot of drop-off in Boston between their starters and their bench players, whereas I feel Poole coming in for Clay, at this point, you're not losing a whole lot with him coming in. And then, of course, when Steph goes out, you're going to obviously lose a lot there. But they're more bred with Kuminga and some of their other bench players to do better without their 5 in the game than whereas Boston's probably going to have to keep at least Tatum or Brown in, I'd say, all game. Or rotate them. One of them might have to be in the game at all times.
So I just want to make sure so for the Boston Celtics, you got Robert Williams being the X factor, And then for the
Mhm.
Golden State Warriors, you have a collection. You have Jordan Poole, Kaminga,
And the rest
and
of the bench. Yeah.
and the rest of the bench.
Yeah. Bench
Okay.
players.
I
That's more the key. Besides running, that's more the key for the series for Golden State. For me, in my eyes.
Okay, so you're saying what's going to help Golden State win this series is more so their bench depth versus Boston Celtics bench depth.
Yeah. So, like, they have, when you lose, Wiggins goes out of the game. That's Porter. They bring him in. Kaminga comes in. Poole comes in. So the drop off isn't as steep as to where, man, I probably couldn't name more than 3 or 4 bench players for Boston, which you've got Pritchard. You've got Theis that comes off the bench. I mean, both of their minutes got pretty much cut last series. And man, reaching for I can't give you probably more than 2 or 3 more bench players if I can even think of one for them. So that sticks out definitely for me for Golden State.
So now we get down to the nitty gritty of what people really want to know. Give me your NBA Finals prediction and how many games is it going to take for this team to win? Go ahead, Drew.
I got the Celtics in 6. The 6 is out of respect to number 1. They just came off of that grueling 7-game series. Golden State's a little fresher. But defense wins championships. When it comes down to the end of the day, there's people you can isolate in Golden State and attack them all day long. Boston, you really don't have as much of that unless you get somebody like Peyton Pritchard on the floor, who's just a liability defensively. So I really see Boston taking advantage of that down low, taking advantage of their defensive depth, and they'll win in 6.
So my dude got Boston is 6. Okay, so since you got the Boston Celtics taking this thing home, who wins the NBA Finals MVP, and give me their stat line that they're going to have to average throughout the NBA Finals to win that MVP award?
I'm going to say Jason Tatum. I'm going to say he averages anywhere from 32 to 34 a game, 8 boards, 5 assists.
Okay, so you said you got Tatum. Let's split the difference. Let's say 33 points per game, 8 boards, and 5 assists.
Yep.
So
we'll even
quick,
throw in 1.5 steals.
What's
half
Brown
a block.
gonna have to do this series? What's his average gonna have to be? Because you got Boston in 6, so obviously he's gonna have to be putting in some work. So what he got going on?
Yeah, I'm gonna see him averaging probably 25 plus. We'll top him out at 28 per game. I really see him getting more involved in the playmaking as he's been doing. So we'll give him about 5 assists too, just like Tatum. And let's drop him to about 6 boards. So we'll go 28, 6, and 5 from him.
Ooh, so we got Tatum with 33, 8, and 5, and then you got Brown with 26, 8, and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Boy,
or 26. Let's go 26, 6, and 4. Yeah, 26, 6, and 4.
26, 6, and 4 from Brown. Well, you got them 2 putting up. Well, hell, let's just go ahead and round that. What's Marcus Smart gonna do real quick?
Marcus Smart, let me give him about. Man, we didn't really worry about as much of his points. I'll say he averages about 10.5 points a game. He's going to have about 8 assists, and I'll give him about 4 rebounds. But where he's really going to contribute is I'll give him 2.5 steals a game, and we'll give him a full block a game too, because he's one of the obvious choices for a key to the series besides Robert Williams. But, with him being the defensive player of the year, the defense he's already played on Steph this year, it's going to make from a fun series from that standpoint. We'll see how much Steph's grown over the regular season, because Smart was holding him down better than anybody else.
So, before I get you out of here, Drew, I just want to make sure you got the Golden State Warriors with the bench depth. The deeper they have they have 5 to 6 guys who right now are averaging double-figure scores in the NBA playoffs versus the Boston Celtics have Tatum, Brown, Smart, and Derek White, who's averaging over 10 points a game. You got the Boston Celtics still winning in 6.
Yep. Boston in 6, if not less. Their advantage defensively. Defense wins championships, man.
Go ahead.
So I think that where they lack, where they're not as good, as in depth in other areas, they're making up for it with that defensive prowess.
Go
And
ahead,
I don't
Drew.
see anybody that can guard Tatum.
Boston in
Or
5.
Brown.
It sounds like that's what you want to say. Boston in 5. Go ahead.
Man, I don't.
Go
I
ahead.
want
Go
to
ahead,
say
Drew. Boston in 5.
4.
Go ahead.
I can't do it. I gotta be respectful. I gotta be respectful of the experience that the champions have. And Steve Kerr is a good coach, so I'll be respectful of them and give them a couple games. But
it sounds like you don't want to.
Yeah, man. I don't think anybody can guard Tatum and Brown. I think them boys are gonna have their way all series. I think
Boston in 5.
They have more players that can make it difficult for Golden State to do what they do than Golden State does to disrupt what Boston wants to do.
So basically, Boston in 5. You know you want to, Drew.
You know what? Nah. And you know why? Because after Steve Kerr's speech, dog, I can't disrespect him like that. I got to give him 6.
That's fair.
I got to give him 6.
There it is. That's fair. Well, Drew, I appreciate you taking that time, hopping on here, give me your NBA Finals predictions, even though you're probably wrong, but that's neither here nor there. We're going to focus.
You tell me what you got.
Oh, man, I got the Warriors in 5.
Warriors in 5?
Warriors in 5.
Yeah, we're going to have to meet up and talk about this.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you, taking out your time today, hop on here. I know you're a busy man. You got a lot going on in your life right now. And again, I always tell you this. I appreciate all the support, all the shares that you do for Beyond the Game. So, Drew, appreciate you, man. I'll holler at you, get with you a little bit later on, man.
I love my guy. We'll see you.
All right. So that was my dude, Drew, from the Beyond the Game Facebook group page, hopping on here, giving us his NBA Finals prediction, his NBA Finals MVP. But we're going to keep this thing moving right along. The next guy I got coming to the stage. And reason why I do it like that, because this dude is an entertainer. He's a rapper. He got songs out right now. He got an album out right now. I'll tell him, to let the people know where you can go find his album. But I got none other than Marcus Commodore from the Beyond the Game Facebook group page on here right now. Commodore, what's happening with you, big dog?
What's up, man?
Man, Commodore is my fellow LeBron James brother, but we ain't gonna get into all of that today.
Yes, sir.
We not doing that today. No. So I'm gonna talk about a little NBA Finals action. So before we get into all of that, Commodore, let the people know where they can check out some of your music, man.
Oh, well, you can check me out, man. Lex859 on all platforms, Apple Music, YouTube, Tidal, anything that you got, I'm on there, Lex859. Check me out, man. I got an EP out called The Resurrection. I got a few singles out. And just go check it out, man. Tell me what y'all think.
There it is. Make sure y'all go check out Commodores. Make sure y'all support local. Make sure y'all support our rap. Make sure you support everybody that's doing something positive around the city. But anyways, let's get into the NBA Finals. Commodore, what do the Boston Celtics have to do in order for them to win this NBA Finals?
They pretty much got to keep doing what they've been doing. They're the best defensive team in the playoffs, one of the best defensive teams, period. So they just need to do what they've been doing. They can take advantage of a lot of matchups on the defensive end. The only thing that can is Jason Tatum disappearing.
Yeah, because he's been inconsistent throughout the NBA. He's been consistent just enough for them to win, obviously, but he's had a lot of up and downs throughout a lot of these series. One game he'll give you 56, the next game he'll turn around and give you 10. But anyways, let's talk about the Western Conference Final champions, the Golden State Warriors. Commodore, what do they have to do in order to win the NBA Finals?
Wiggins basically keep playing the way he's been playing. He's been the X factor in the whole playoffs. The problem has been that nobody that they played has had anybody that can really guard him for some odd reason. So if he's playing well, Steph Curry is always going to do him. He's been able to mask the fact that Klay Thompson hasn't been very good, and the role players have stepped up in that absence. But Andrew Wiggins has been like a man amongst men's boys that's what they have to do. Wiggins has to keep playing the way he's playing and win.
So so in order for the Golden State Warriors to win, Andrew Wiggins has to keep doing what he's doing, which is the defensive job he did on Luka Doncic in the Western Conference Finals. Even though Luka still put up buckets, but he contained and slowed Luka down. What you brought up about Andrew Wiggins brings me to my next segment, which is the key series, the key moments, the key factors. Who are the X factors for both of these squads in order for them to win? The Grant Williams, the Al Horfords, those type of guys, the Kumingas, the Kevon Looneys. Who do you have as X factors on both squads that will help these teams win?
For the Celtics, I think it's going to be Grant Williams. The defense that he's been able to play on pretty much anybody, big or smaller, he would be able to check Andrew Wiggins sometimes. I think at some points that he will actually be able to guard him when they play small, or when Golden State plays smaller. But he should be able to, he's stronger than Wiggins, so he should be able to outmuscle him, but still be able to move with him to guard him, to slow him down. Plus, he'd be able to bang with Looney a little bit. So I think him playing defense is going to be the X factor for Boston.
Okay. Now give me who you got for Golden State.
As far as the Warriors, I guess it would be Wiggins. Well, aside from Wiggins, to have to do what he do, I would say Poole.
Okay. So
Poole will have to take
Andrew Wiggins. Okay.
Klay Thompson's place. Yes. Poole will have to take Klay Thompson's place. Klay Thompson just isn't made for him right now. Like, I don't know what's going on with him in the playoffs. He's only had a couple of good games. So Poole will have to step up tremendously against the Celtics because the Celtics are such a good defensive team.
Okay, so Andrew Wiggins, Poole being the X factors for them, and Grant Williams being the X factor for the Boston Celtics. Before I go on to my next question, since Grant Williams is the X factor for the Boston Celtics, what do you think he has to average to give the Boston Celtics a chance to win this series?
I mean, they pretty much lean on him for defensive purposes. But if you give them 10 points in this series, it'll be tremendous.
Okay. 10 points in defense. Okay. All right. So now let's get to the part of everybody wants to know, who does Commodore have winning the NBA Finals? Give me your prediction and how many games is it going to take? Go ahead, Commodore. Floor is yours. If you want to freestyle it, even better.
You silly. I've been thinking long and hard about this one. Pause. But I'm going to go with the Celtics in 6.
Ooh, back-to-back Celtics. Okay. Boston Celtics in 6. So since you got the Boston Celtics winning in 6 games, who you got winning the NBA Finals MVP, and also give me the stat line that this player is going to have to average in order for them to win the Finals MVP?
Well, of course, I'm going to go with my Duke guy.
Oh, my God.
Jason Tatum. In order for them to win, if he can average 28 points, 7 rebounds and 6 assists, that should do it. If he can consistently do that, and that don't mean score 28 in the first half and then don't score no points in the second half.
He's been known to do that. He's been known to do that.
I know it. He's got to spread that 28 out.
So if Tatum is doing that, what does Brown have to do in order to help the Boston? Because if Tatum is giving you 28, 7, and 6, what does Brown have to give you so that can help the Boston Celtics win in 6?
If Brown can average 20 at least, that would be good, because they're going to have other chip in the other points. So if Brown can give them 20 points, 7 rebounds, and a few assists, maybe 3 or 4 assists, because he's not a playmaker like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if he can help out a little bit on that end, then that would be big, because that would boost up what they're capable of doing. Because again, I don't think aside from Wiggins, I don't really think they have anybody to be able to guard both of them.
Ooh-wee. Ooh. So you got Tatum giving you 26. You got Brown giving you 20. Give me a Marcus Smart stat line.
Smart, uh, 11 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. I mean, he's a point guard, but he ain't no point guard.
Mm-hmm.
But again, in order to beat Golden State, you got to get them moving and get easy baskets, because they're going to knock down threes. So you need to get as many easy baskets as you can. So Boston's going to have to really move the ball and make smarter decisions. And Smart cannot keep shooting threes.
Yeah, you can. Let him keep shooting it. Empty that clip, Smart. Let it go. Let it go. Don't leave a bullet in the chamber in that thing. Let that clip go. But anyways, man, Commodore, I appreciate you taking time out to kick it with me. Let the people know one more time where they can go and check your music out at.
Hey, man, on all platforms, Apple, Spotify, Tidal, just type in Lex859 and I'm going to pop up. Your boys there, man. Check out all my music.
There it is. Make sure y'all go check out Lex859 Music. Commodore, appreciate you kicking it with me. I'll holler at you later on, bro.
No problem, my dog. Yes, sir.
All right, so last guest, last but not least, the last guy we got coming onto the stage from the Beyond the Game Facebook group page. This dude right here has been a supporter of Beyond the Game since day one. He was a supporter of Beyond the Game before it was even Beyond the Game. Little known fact, this dude right here, forget it. This is my brother right here. Coming to the stage. We started off a podcast called Let Us Talk. That's how this whole thing even got started. We was, he's in Columbus, Ohio. I'm obviously here in Lexington, Kentucky. And we was doing a podcast because we started out arguing about Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James in 2003. Little known fact, I was a Carmelo Anthony guy. I used to think he was better than LeBron James coming out of in the 2003 draft. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Let me bring to the stage, without further ado, Fats. Fats, my brother, what's going on with
boss?
you?
What's going on?
Oh man, just getting ready for this NBA Finals matchup between the light-skinned Golden State Warriors against the whatever them other guys is coming out
Brown
of the East
skins.
Coast, against the brown skins, against the brown skin Celtics. But anyways, let's get right on into it. So let's start with the Boston Celtics, the Eastern Conference Final champions. What do the Boston Celtics have to do in order for them to become victorious in the NBA Finals?
I would say do what they've been doing. Less turnovers. I would say Jason Tatum, he needs to stay aggressive. Sometimes he'd be way too passive. They already, went against KD, Kyrie, Giannis, the Heat. So, and the others. Jaylen Brown got to be Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Al Horford. They still got to play their roles. Grant Williams, Pritchard when he comes in. So they've been playing like a team. I would just say just be a little more aggressive.
So keep doing what they've been doing, but consistently be more aggressive throughout the whole NBA Finals. I bet. So let's go on over to the Western Conference Finals champions who beat the Dallas Mavericks 4-1 to get to the NBA Finals without Kevin Durant, but that's neither here nor there. I ain't getting into all that right now. So what do the Golden State Warriors have to do in order for them to win this NBA Finals?
They are battle tested, so they just have to be Golden State. They're finally fully healthy. Just show up. That's it.
That's all they got to do, just show up to their
arena. Just show up. Yeah. I mean, they're battle tested. Knock on wood, no injuries. But, this group been together a long time, the core three. So, and you got Wiggins and Poole who's going to step up. Kevon Looney, he stepped his game up in his playoffs. So, just show up.
Just so this.
I know Steph and Clay and Dre going to show.
So, all they got to do is just pretty much, get to the arena, then it's on after that. So, You talked about Steph, Clay, Draymond. You talked about the Boston Celtics, obviously, with Tatum and Brown. But who are going to be the X factors for both squads? You know, the Grant Williams, the Al Horfords, the Kevon Looney's, those type of guys. Who will be the X factors for each team?
You know how Shaq say the others. So you see one game, Al Horford gave you 30 against the Bucks, 30 something. Grant Williams had a career high, but the X factor to me is Marcus Smart. He's the leader of the team. He's the vocal leader, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be on Steph. He just need to frustrate Steph a little bit, and I know he's going to get Jaylen Brown and Tatum going.
So Marcus Smart. So real quick, before I ask you about the X factors for the Golden State Warriors, what does Marcus Smart stat line have to be in order to put the Boston Celtics in the best position to win this finals? Give me a stat line of what he has to average.
He doesn't need to go crazy on the offensive end, maybe like 15 and 17, about 7, 8 assists, a few rebounds, few steals. But you know he's that defensive presence that they need. He's going to set the tone because Boston this year, you know, they've been real good on defense. So I feel like his main attribute is going to be his defense on Steph.
Is he picking up Steph 94 feet?
He might, but then Steph going to hit like a 39-footer on him. So, yeah, he might some plays, but I don't think that's good. It's going to wear him out.
All right. So let's talk about the Golden State Warriors. Who will be the X factors for them in order to help them win this NBA Finals?
I know everybody's probably going to say Jordan Poole because, you know, he's been getting buckets all year. But mine is Andrew Wiggins. He's guarded Luka. I mean, even though Luka still got his off, he made it frustrating. I was watching Draymond's podcast of when he was telling Wiggins do certain stuff to Luka just to kind of frustrate him. So if he can limit or have one of them have a bad shooting night and Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and he still can get you about 18 to 20, he could be the new Iguodala for the Warriors right now in this finals. That's that's my prediction.
I forgot about Andrew Iguodala was still even on the squad, but
yeah, they got a new
Andrew Wiggins, so he has to be the X factor in order to help the Golden State Warriors. So give me an Andrew Wiggins because, like you said, he's gonna have the defensive responsibility of either Brown or Tatum Brown, however you want to look at it. What does he have to give them on the offensive end to help put them in the best position to win this series?
I feel like Wiggins, he can provide you some Iguodala stats. I think Iguodala was like 17 and 7 in rebounds. I think if he can provide that for the Warriors and limit as much as he can Tatum or Jaylen Brown, whoever his matchup is, I would say that's why I feel like he's the X factor.
Okay, so we got the X factors out the way. We got what Boston has to do to win. We got what the Golden State Warriors have to do to win. So let's get down to what people really want to know is who does Fats have winning the NBA Finals? And give me your games.
Who I want to win it is
no. Who you got?
No, hold on.
Who you want to win it?
Who I want to win it? I'm rooting for Boston, but I feel like this is Steph Curry's MVP Finals year. So I have the Warriors in 7, and I think this is going to solidify in the top 10. I think he's going to have one of those games. He's going to probably have like a 40-point memorable game because he had his moments in the finals, but I don't think he had a moment that we can really remember like that. I think he's going to give us one. And I think Clay's going to give us some games this year because I know he's on a mission. Draymond's on a mission. But the Celtics, they really tough, and they're battle tested this playoffs. They grew up. They've been in the conference finals, 3-4 times, you know. So, but I got the Warriors in 7.
Warriors in 7.
Steph Curry Finals MVP.
I was getting ready to ask you Steph Curry Finals MVP. So give me a Steph Curry stat line that he has to average in order for him to win the Finals MVP.
He going 30 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds.
See, the great minds think alike because on the NBA Weekly Recap show, I said the same thing. And KJ looked at me like I had a third eye. I said Steph is going to have 33, 8, and 7. 33 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Like, it's not out of the – because what the year that they won it, I forget. Or it might have been the year that they lost. Oh, or was it the KD year, the first year? I can't remember. But anyways, I remember he was averaging more rebounds than Tristan Thompson was.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not crazy to think that he can't average 8 rebounds. And like you said,
Yeah, because he done it before.
I believe Steph is going to be on a mission to get that first Finals MVP because that's what everybody says. Oh, well, he got
Yes,
3
but you
rings,
know what's scary?
What's that?
I think the Celtics know that. So I think somebody might sneak and get it from me, and his name is Klay Thompson. Because they know that the focus is going to be on Steph Curry. They know it. So they may draw some doubles. You know, Poole probably can get you a 30-point game, but Klay can steal it from Steph. Just because I know everybody going in knows they're trying to get Steph the Finals MVP.
So that brings me to my last question, which is an interesting thing that you just brought up. Is Steph going to try too hard to get the NBA Finals MVP because everybody's expecting him to win it if Golden State wins it? So do you think he's going to go and try too hard to win it?
Is that considered stat chasing?
Man, don't start.
I think the Warriors, the way they like well-rounded. So maybe him just having an off night trying to shoot a lot of shots, but the way their system is, he shouldn't have to try too hard. I think his game should speak for itself within the system.
So you don't think Steph will be out there trying too hard. But anyways, Fats, man, I appreciate you giving me 5 to 7 minutes of your time to sit down. And also for the people who are tuned in and watching my Black Vulture shirt, make sure you go to www.blackvulture.com. The summertime is coming up, ladies and fellas. Go on out there, get your summertime fit together. You got the Hoochie Daddy shorts. Are you selling some of those?
Man, look, right. Never, ever.
So
they're gonna be 7X long.
So for the people who can't see right now, he actually has on a pair of prototype Black Vulture Hoochie Daddy shorts right now. With his
I see the hat.
But
2002 in the Heat shorts. Come on now.
So make sure y'all go to blackvulture.com. Father's Day's coming up, so make sure check that out to give a gift for Father's Day. Or guys, get your own self a Father's Day gift. But Fats, appreciate you stopping by. I'll holler at you later on, my brother.
All right, boss.
Man, what a great episode. Thank you again to all of my guests that came on to today's show from the Beyond the Game Facebook group page. I can't thank you guys enough for dedicating a few minutes out of your day to come on here and chop it up with me. But anyways, we getting ready to get on up out of here. And you can always check out the Beyond the Game podcast on all major podcast streaming platforms. So wherever you get your podcast at, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, make sure you check us out and subscribe. You can always, and make sure you also like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you can't sit down and watch us on your phone on YouTube, you can download the Beyond the Game app on your Amazon Fire Stick and sit down and watch us in the confines of your very own home. Also, make sure you download the Beyond the Game app on your iPhone or Android and get notifications every time a new show drops. Well, anyways, I've taken up too much of your time already. I'm getting ready to get on up out of here. Watch some of these NBA games. Make sure you do the same. And as always, make sure you treat somebody how you want somebody to treat your mama. This is your boy, Nephew Q, and I'm up out this thing, y'all. Peace.